Record Citizen on Thursday, January 2nd, 2025, and published in the Daily Record on Tuesday, January 7th, in the Citizen on Wednesday, January 8th. These notices were sent within 48 hours prior to this meeting and were sent sufficient time for publications to publish them. Additionally, this meeting was re-advertised for. Notice for the meeting was sent to the Daily Record and Citizen on Thursday, July 20th, 2025, and was published in both papers on Wednesday, July 16th, 2025. All notices were posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building as well as posted on the town's website. These notices were sent within 48 hours prior to this meeting and were sent in sufficient time for publications to publish them. A copy of said notices on file with the municipal clerk. To let anyone on this call know, if they need an interpreter, we have one here. When you sign on, you'll need an interpreter. That's the translation. At this time, I would ask everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Please remain standing. O God in heaven, you have called us here to the voice of your people to act on their behalf. Give us the wisdom and strength to do what is right for our town and our people. Let us remember always that we serve you by serving them. Our prayer is simple, that we act justly, love tenderly, and walk humbly with you through your people. Amen. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Estacio. Councilmember Rodriguez advised that he will be a couple minutes late. Councilman Santana will be absent. Councilmember Scarnio.
Here.
Councilmember Tapia.
Here.
Councilmember Toro. Here. Councilmember Velez. Here. Councilmember Whitner.
Here.
Mayor Dodd.
Here. Okay. We have approval of our minutes for April 22nd, 2025 and May 13th, 2025. So everyone has an opportunity to review them and approve them. I'll ask for a motion and a second to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Estacio.
Yes.
Councilmember Scarnio.
Yes.
Councilmember Tapia.
Yes.
Councilmember Toro.
Yes.
Councilmember Velez.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitner.
Yes.
Mayor Dodd.
Yes. Okay, we have our committee reports. I'll start off with the mayor's report. We'll try to keep this brief as possible. We've had a multitude of meetings over the last several weeks. A lot of meetings with developers looking for redevelopment opportunities here in our community. I'm sure most of you have seen a number of redevelopment discussions and improvements that are going to be coming soon. We have additional ones on the agenda tonight, areas that need study or areas that need of redevelopment or rehab to clean up some of these blighted sites in our community. We have developers reaching out, a lot of developers reaching out now that we have a full-time planner on staff, and the progress is moving along really well. So I can spend a lot of time in redevelopment meetings tonight. You'll see some of them on the agenda. We also met recently with St. Clair's Marketing Division for sponsorship opportunities here in the town of Dover. I believe this is a win-win for the town and St. Clair's, where they sponsor events and we promote the hospital through advertising, social media, website, and other platforms. Exactly what we do for other local businesses here in our community. And I want to thank our newly formed Dover Business Development Group for bringing this concept to me for my approval. This is a concept where sponsorship opportunities are available to local businesses or anyone in our community or outside of our community to come in and sponsor our local events. And the beauty of that is that the cost of the events does not fall on the back of the taxpayers. It's paid for through sponsorship, and that was brought to my attention by the Dover Business Development Group. It's been extremely successful. 90 to 95% of all events in Dover have been covered by sponsorship so far, with the exception of the July 4th fireworks. But I'll talk about that in a few minutes. But the Dover Business Development Group has been doing an outstanding job, and we continue to look forward to for more opportunities in our community. community for local businesses to be able to promote them. We held multiple meetings recently to discuss our fireworks that were scheduled originally for July 3rd. Unfortunately, Mother Nature was not cooperative, and we had to postpone it twice, finally having the fireworks on July 18th. Unfortunately, because of the two cancellations during the pre-meeting to discuss logistics, we were informed that there were only 4 officers to cover the event, the night of fireworks, since approximately 30 officers were either not available or on vacation. I did make calls to surrounding towns and spoke to mayors from other towns as I sit on the legislative committee for the New Jersey Conference of Mayors, and that's basically what we do. We coordinate together the event. Another town needs help, so it was successful. Also, the chief activated McReds for surrounding towns, and I contacted Sterling Security to bring in additional coverage to properly staff the event to provide the proper security, adequate security for the event. And for those of you who know this administration, we make safety first. So I want to thank everyone that participated in the fireworks that made that event a success. Even though we had 2 cancellations and 2 delays, we finally had it on July 18th. I think they did an incredible job. It was a huge success. Once again, I want to thank Kimmel Schaefer, Schaefer Fireworks, for an outstanding show that he put on. I also want to thank all the hometown heroes who we honored that night with a certificate and a medal for wearing a uniform and enlisting in the military and providing the freedom that we have in this country that we do have. And in my opinion, we don't do enough for our veterans in this country. So every little thing we can do for them, I will continue to do that, stand behind it. I think we had 28 veterans that came out that were honored that night. I also want to mention that I honored 2 other individuals, Kathy Gradicos, who is a gospel singer from Sacred Heart Church. Kathy, as you know, sings at not all, but most of our events. Beautiful woman, beautiful voice. Recently celebrated her 80th birthday, so congratulate Kathy Gradicos on her 80th birthday. And also Sal Dupree from Sal Shoemaker, most of you know him as down on Blackwell Street. And Sal was born in 1938, came to this country in the 60s, and has seized the true meaning of the American dream. He came here with his family, had his family, and then became the founder of the town of Dover. He's still here today, and he's doing a great job, still a business town at Sal Shoemaker. So I want to thank Sal and honor Sal Dupree once again for his commitment to staying here in the town of Dover and living the American dream. We recently met with the executive director for downtown New Jersey to discuss the upcoming bid here in Dover for Business Improvement District that we are creating. We're taking a proactive approach to determine what strategies will work for our community. This program can be implemented in several ways where businesses in the zone will pay an additional tax, either based on property value or square footage, and that money can be used in many ways in the Business Improvement District. In addition to a director and board, we will have an in-house municipal advisory committee. Will include a community benefits program that can include an ambassador program to provide additional security in the Business Improvement District, along with facade improvements, street lighting, hanging flower baskets, and really the potential in a bid is unlimited. We'll continue to, we have a meeting coming up, business meet and greet, to explain that to all of our local businesses, those that will be in that program. I think this is a huge win for our local businesses and the town of Dover, where we're once again able to promote our local businesses here in the town of Dover. When our businesses grow, the town of Dover does very well. So we're going to continue to do everything we can through our business development group and make downtown as beautiful as we possibly can. We also met with Tap Into, a neighborhood online news feed, to keep our residents informed. This company started in New Providence 17 years ago, and they currently represent over 80 towns here in New Jersey. This is an excellent tool to keep our residents informed on current events in the town of Dover. They do a great job. I recently met with the owner of Tap Into down at the Mayor's Conference in Atlantic City, invited him up to a meeting to see how he can help us here in the town of Dover, how the company can help us here in the town of Dover, and keep our public informed on current events and everything that's going on in our community. So look forward to working with Tap Into in the very near future. Today I also was honored to attend a ribbon cutting ceremony at Head Start for the building dedication of Susan O'Donnell, who is a 10-year employee, executive director of Head Start for the last 10 years. Susan did an outstanding job and grew the Head Start program significantly where they needed to put an addition on the building. And Head Start is a huge success because of Susan. So I want to publicly, again, commend Susan for all of her hard work and efforts here at Head Start in the town of Dover. And it's an incredible program that gives young children an advantage to preschool before they actually get into the school system. So congratulations, Susan O'Donnell, for a job well done in the last 10 years, and we wish you great success in the future in your new endeavors. Tonight, we have Alex Doherty, our town planner, on this call. Alex will speak about some of the things that are upcoming in the planning and redevelopment world. It is moving very quickly, and I'm glad to see that that is happening. So I'll give Alex an opportunity when we get a little further in the agenda for him to fill this group and the public in on what's going on here. And with that, that is my report for tonight. Do we have any committee reports?
The fire committee will be meeting next Tuesday. We were supposed to meet last week, but we didn't have to reschedule. So I'll have a report on our office.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so before we go into the public comment on agenda items only, we'll have two public portions tonight. The first one is agenda items only. Anything on the agenda that you would like to discuss, please do so. The couple changes we have for those who registered, we're going to ask you to please raise your hand and be ready to speak. I will call your name. Please be ready to speak. We will call your name and request you to accept and unmute your device. You'll have up to 3 minutes to share your comments. If we miss you or you cannot unmute at that moment, we will come back to you after we call the people who registered. So the first person we have that's registered to speak is Dominic Caminani. Is Dominic Caminani on the Zoom call? Okay, we'll move on and come back at the end. Marie Chacon.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Okay, good evening. I just wanted to ask, can I, on the agenda, you have executive session. Can I comment on that?
We don't have an executive session tonight, but if you want to make a comment, you certainly can.
So it noted on the agenda that there's going to be an executive session or a closed session.
It's not a voting item. No, it's not.
No?
Not a voting item.
So no, it's not going to happen?
There is not an executive session tonight. If there was an executive session, it'd stay underneath what we're going in for, litigation, contract negotiation, whatever it might be.
Okay, well,
Executive session tonight.
so there is no closed session during this meeting or after this meeting? Nothing?
No.
Okay. All right. So then I guess what I have to speak about is going to happen after the agenda items?
That's fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Chris Almada. Is Chris Almada on the call? Chris, you have to unmute.
You have to unmute on the Zoom. They didn't tell you how, but.
Okay, next we have Edward Grimes. Edward Grimes, please unmute.
Good evening, Council. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So this would have to do with the smoking ordinance, I guess. I could talk about the smoking ordinance that you're introducing, or no?
Yeah.
Okay, so my big problem with that is that it affects medical cannabis patients. It affects the sick, the dying, and the disabled. You're asking people to have to give up their ID because they're using their medicine. I got a big problem with that. And you have a woman named Elram that wears a burqa. That's a medical cannabis patient. So what are you gonna, every time you stop somebody in a burqa, are you gonna make them show their face? Like everybody in a burqa has to show their face? I know they can't speak in the meetings anymore, but now they're gonna be uncovered. I don't think that's fair to medical patients. I don't think that's fair to the Muslim community. You have 1,500 Muslims in Dover that don't need that kind of harassment from Dodge administration, which they've already been very subject to lately. So yeah, I have a big problem with the smoking ordinance, how it affects medical cannabis patients, and how are you going to enforce that? And what happens if a patient doesn't have their ID? They're going to get fined and have to go to court. We're talking about disabled people. You're making disabled people jump through hoops. Again, here we go again. So that's all I have to say on this. Thank you.
Okay, we have listed next NCMC President.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good evening. I am speaking in the capacity as the president of an organization called the Neutralization of Council Meeting Conduct. And I want to echo what Mr. Grimes said in terms of the smoking ordinance for medical cannabis patients. What would wind up happening is you would subject them to a Fourth Amendment violation by making them identify themselves to prove that they are a medical cannabis patient. And it also winds up being a HIPAA violation. So there's a lot of legal concerns with that. So I also express deep concerns over how this affects the sick, the dying, and the disabled. And there's been a lot of issues within this town, and I'm not exactly sure how that's going to play out. So the unintended consequences of this ordinance falls very heavily on the most vulnerable people, which are those who are disabled and sick. And it doesn't really seem to, I would ask the council, I know this is comment section and it's not a question and answer, but I would ask the council to possibly respond and provide some insight over what the reasons are. It does seem to be, in fact, to me, possibly a retaliatory response within the community targeting certain people over issues that stem from personal reasons. So I would just ask if it's possible to maybe get something on the record from the council as to what the reason is for, why it's been brought up at the time that it's been brought up, and what they're attempting to achieve by creating such an ordinance and enforcing it when the consequences wind up being a Fourth Amendment violation and a HIPAA violation. So any response on that would be greatly appreciated. And I'm hopeful to get some responses on the public record in regards to that. Thank you.
there's no one else on the public portion. I'll close this portion for the public on agenda items. Let the record show that Councilman Rodriguez is in attendance. I do want to comment for those of you who been on these meetings before. I wait till all the comments are made or questions are made, and then I comment on my comments, at least on the public portion. But I want to make it clear that in no shape or way or form is this an attempt to affect disabled in our community by the smoking ordinance. In fact, if you drive a vehicle, you have to have a driver's license. If you drive a vehicle and get pulled over, you don't have a driver's license, you will receive a summons. If you're a medical patient that smokes cannabis, you must carry that license or that ID. And if you don't, unfortunately, that's a problem. I look at it this way. We are here to protect and provide safety to the general community. I understand that there are cannabis patients that have medical marijuana needs, but there's a time and a place for everything. Our public parks should not be an area where cannabis is being smoked where children are. A public park should not be a place where cannabis is smoked that affects the general public. Not everyone smokes cannabis. And also have to look at it no different than alcohol. You cannot have an open container in public. It's against the law. So we feel, at least the majority of this board feels, that you should not be smoking cannabis in public parks. It affects the entire community. I'm not offended by people who smoke cannabis. That's your given right. It's legal. But there's a time and a place for everything. If we allow people to drink alcohol, open containers all over our streets, smoke cannabis all over our streets, what will we turn into? It's unfortunate, but we live by the rule of law, and we have to adhere to that. A medical cannabis patient certainly has the right to smoke cannabis in the right place. I don't have an issue with that at all, but I also would advise medical cannabis patients to carry the proper ID, just like I would tell everyone drop the vehicle, make sure you have your driver's license. And Mr. Grimes, I want to tell you that you continue to come here and talk about this, the person in a burqa. It was you. We watched you on camera. We have you on tape. So if I was one of the 1,500 Muslims that you spoke about here at tonight's meeting, I would be offended by your comments. You don't represent the Muslim community, Mr. Grimes. You want to turn this place into a circus, and it's exactly why we're having these Zoom meetings. So if I was one of the Muslims in this community, I would be offended by your comments. I don't think it's fair that you continue to play that way. That's my response to the public portion. We're going to now go into the ordinances for first reading. Ordinance 12/2005, an ordinance of the Mayor and Town Council, Town of Dover, County of Morrison, State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing Chapter 328, smoking. This is first reading again for this council's information. This is to get this ordinance on the books. If this ordinance is approved here tonight, as you know, this was here once before in front of this council. We've had some suggestions to make changes. We went back, we made those changes, and now it's being presented for a second time. But there will be a second reading and public hearing, public portion where the public can comment and provide any information they need to for our consideration on adoption. Again, this is first reading to get it on the books.
So,
We have a motion and a second.
Mayor, okay? Yeah, I just want to add to what you said. So people were required to take the fresh air, but go with the family and the children. And I agree. We wouldn't have anybody drinking at the park, so definitely shouldn't have anybody smoking cannabis at the park. It is our job to promote safety, fresh air for our residents. I would suggest also maybe like adding signs around the park, just so people know for sure that smoking cannabis are bigger signs. Because unless we have the small. So people would know for sure that it's not allowed.
Just want to point out that also in New Jersey, smoking marijuana or any other smoking in public places, particularly marijuana, is consumption areas and lounges. You are not permitted to smoke marijuana in public features. While it is done routinely, and we see that all over the state, legally under the law, which legalized marijuana for recreational use, it did not permit individuals to smoke marijuana in public again on private property and in licensed consumption areas. Smoking cigarettes, tobacco,
Okay,
Um,
very good, thank you.
but this ordinance specifically seeks to outlaw smoking of any type in our public parks, correct? So that is cigarette smoking, vaping,
Right.
vaping, all of that.
I just want to make the distinction.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to point out, it's not just marijuana, it is tobacco, it is vapes, which are extremely detrimental for youth and running rampant, and also marijuana. I wanted to ask where we are with consumption levels, because the one key difference between alcohol and marijuana, which everyone seems to draw, is that someone can go to a bar and drink. Where can people smoke besides their own homes?
So from what I understand, when the cannabis law was approved here in the town of Dover, that was not part of the ordinance. So that's something that we certainly can look into.
That's correct, and we can add it anytime, we just can't take it away within those 5 years.
Right.
So I would encourage,
We can look into it.
economic development to look into consumption lounges, because it's important to do this, but we also need to recognize that there is no parallel between alcohol and marijuana in terms of access, especially a community that has 20-something liquor licenses, that people can go in any corner and drink and talk in private. You don't have that for marijuana, so that's important to go on as well.
Motion and second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Estacio?
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilmember Scarnio?
Yes.
Councilmember Tapia?
Yes.
Councilmember Toro?
Yes.
Councilmember Velez?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitner?
Yes.
Mayor Dyer?
Yes. Okay, we have ordinances for second reading. Ordinance 18, 2025, ordinance of the Mayor and Town Council, Town of Dover, County of Orange, State of New Jersey, amending chapter 236 of the Town Code. Second. Okay, at this time, this is second reading and public hearing. I'll open this portion to the public. Anyone in the public wish to be heard on ordinance 18, 2025, please raise your hand. Anyone in the public can comment?
So we have 3 hands raised right now, Edward Grimes, Bruce and Angela, and Robin Ken.
Okay, so this is only pertaining to ordinance 18, chapter 236. Who's person?
Robin Ken.
Robin K. Unmute, please.
Hello, Mayor and Council. This is Robin Klein, 49 Jackson Avenue.
Okay.
So I'd like to just make a comment or two on Ordinance 18, 2025. First of all, I want to applaud the fact that we're reestablishing, I think, some very good and judicial bulk requirements for the C2 district. As we're seeing the Crossroads redevelopment project go up in the core of our Route 46 C2 zone, we're seeing that there are no setbacks. We know that there's not going to be adequate on-site parking. And the building itself has just become such a monstrosity, particularly for the adjacent residential community. So seeing that now, every lot in the C2 district will be developed with no more than an 80% impervious lot coverage, or not more than 50% building coverage, I think will bring it down to a better scale to fit that entire district along Route 46. So I'm definitely complimenting you for that and in favor. With respect to the off-street parking, and loading section, which is section 236-43. My question becomes, who's going to do this enforcement of the no parking or storage of any commercial or non-commercial vehicle that has more than 4 tires or exceeds more than 10,000 pounds, which is about 5 tons?
So, Robin, I would like to answer all the questions at the end. I am taking notes, and I will answer all your questions at the end.
Okay, very good. And the last statement, the last sentence in that section says that commercial vehicles that are parked on residential properties shall be parked in a driveway or parking area, but not closer than 20 feet to the front property line. So my question there is there a grandfather provision to that particular provision of this ordinance? And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin.
Rose Angela Santana.
Rosanna Santana? Rosanna?
Rose Angela.
Rosanna? Unmute, please.
I'm sorry. I think I did that by mistake. My apologies.
No problem.
Looks like we have Edward Cross.
Edward Grimes.
No, I have nothing to say for this ordinance. I'm waiting for public comment at the end. Thank you.
And then we have President of NMC.
President of NMC.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, for the record, it's NCMC of NJ, which stands for Neutralization of Council Meeting Conduct. I was not prepared to give any statement on this ordinance. I didn't realize my hand was up. I have nothing more to add at this time. I will be speaking at the public portion during the end. Thank you.
Okay, seeing you guys in closest portion to the public, I do want to go back to Robin Klein's comments. The C2 ordinance that we have in front of us here tonight, ordinance 18/2025, is pretty much the corridor along Route 46 that has been for many, many years a commercial district and a retail district. To my surprise, the C2 zone did not allow for retail sales. It does now in this new ordinance. It also had lumber yards. I think way back from when Robin, you'll probably remember when Stan Bass had a lumber yard on Route 46. We took that out of the ordinance. I absolutely agree with you. There has to be a grandfather clause for the 20-foot distance. Most of the older homes that are here now are within that 20 feet, so that will be an exception to the rule. Enforcement will have to be by both. It will have to be by the Dover Police Department once an ordinance is put into place. The Dover Police Department has a responsibility to enforce that ordinance, as well as the parking enforcement. As we now ramp up our new parking ordinance, we'll be receiving all the new kiosks very soon in the downtown area. We'll be hiring additional parking enforcement officers. As we start to implement the residential program in the parking ordinance, we will need additional officers as well. And we're not only going to have officers from 8:30 to 4:30, we're going to have split shifts. So we will have parking enforcement out in the residential neighborhoods at night to enforce the ordinance. So I think it's twofold. The enforcement will be by the Dover Police Department, and it will also be by the Dover Parking Utility. So I hope that answers your questions. Next, we have ordinance 19, 2025, an ordinance of the mayor and town council, town of Dover, county of Morris, state of New Jersey, providing handicap parking space at 92 Plymouth Street.
We have to do roll call for 18.
Oh, sorry, they did a roll call. I'm sorry.
Councilmember Estacio?
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilmember Scarnio?
Yes.
Councilmember Tapia?
Yes.
Councilmember Toro?
Yes.
Councilmember Velez?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitner?
Yes.
Mayor Dodd?
Yes. I read the ordinance 19. Now, motion, please.
So moved. Second.
Questions, comments, roll call. Oh, second, please. Okay, this time I'll open this meeting to public ordinance 19, 2025. Anyone wish to be heard, please raise your hand. Seeing no hands, we'll close this portion. Roll call.
Councilmember Estacio?
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilmember Scarnio?
Yes.
Councilmember Tapia?
Yes.
Councilmember Toro?
Yes.
Councilmember Velez?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitner?
Yes.
Mayor Dodd?
Yes. Okay, we have our approval of our bills list, resolution 170.
So moved. Second.
Questions, comments? Roll call.
Councilmember Estacio?
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilmember Scarnio?
Yes.
Councilmember Tapia?
Yes.
Councilmember Toro?
Yes.
Councilmember Velez?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitner?
Yes.
Mayor Dodd?
Abstain. Okay, we have approval of resolutions. This is on the consent agenda, and I apologize. There's quite a few resolutions here. I do need to read them into the record. We have resolution 171, 2025, approving taxis almost to be licensed in the town of Dover. Resolution 172, approving taxi cab driver's licenses. 173, appointing a public agency compliance officer. Resolution 174, appointing a fund commissioner for the Morris County Joint Insurance Fund. Resolution 175, appointing fund commissioners for the New Jersey Municipal Benefits Fund. Resolution 176, appointing municipal emergency management coordinator. Resolution 177, refund of remaining balance of the escrow account for planning board application SP0516 to the applicant. Resolution 178, to refund the remaining balance of the escrow account for planning board application Z1702 to the applicant. Resolution 179, 2025, to refund the remaining balance of escrow account for planning board application Z1704 to the applicant. Resolution 180, to refund the remaining balance of the escrow account planning board application Z1705 to the applicant. Resolution 181, 2025, to refund the remaining balance of escrow account for planning board applicant P1709 to the applicant. Resolution 182, to refund the remaining balance of the escrow account for planning board application EWSP 18-01 to the applicant. Resolution 183, 2025, to refund the remaining balance of escrow for planning board application P1801 to the applicant. Resolution 184, 2025, to refund the remaining balance of escrow account for planning board application EWSP 19-03. Resolution 185, to refund the remaining balance of the escrow account for planning board application HPC 19-04. Resolution 186, to refund the remaining balance of the escrow account for planning board application HPC 1905. Resolution 187, 2025, approving a noise permit for 361 East McFarland Street. And Resolution 188, 2025, authorizing the discharge of mortgage under the rehabilitation program with Jeffrey Oppers. I just want to, all the resolutions that are here tonight on this consent agenda for escrow balance return to applicants on the planning board or the early waiver site plan board have been sitting for quite some time. And I just want to commend our new planning board and board of adjustment secretary, Paola. She went through each and every one of these accounts that had escrow to see if money was to be returned to these accounts. And I want to commend her for that. I do need to, we have to pull one on that. You know which one was mine while I read it? 184. I'm going to ask that we vote on 184 separate. account for planning board approval. And I'm gonna ask that we vote on that separately so that I need to abstain on that. So, questions or comments on the consent agenda minus 184?
Mayor, I have a question about resolution 174.
Okay.
Yeah, so what specific responsibilities would the one commissioner have, and how often will he attend to deputies?
Sure. So, as all of you know, we are members of the Morris County Joint Insurance Program, and we have two people. One is a commissioner, and Terry, you're the backup, right? Who? Vicky is now. Ed will be, our business administrator will be the commissioner that must attend the Joint Insurance Fund meetings that they have quarterly. It is monthly now. So monthly meetings that the business administrator or our HR director will have to attend those meetings to stay informed on the Joint Insurance Fund updates and requirements.
That be given as updates?
Yep.
The email or the meeting? You can go through our email and keep you guys informed. Thank you. Other question is about resolution 188. Is the funding for this program, is it provided by the town, the state, or federal?
No, it's a discharge warrant. So is that for?
No, we have a teaching program.
I'm sorry.
Yes. He's asking how is the program funded?
Yeah.
So it's grant funded.
The program is primarily funded through small cities grant, in which homeowners can borrow money for home improvements. We have a $20,000 limit on that loan to the homeowner. The homeowner does not have to pay it back, but we do put a deed restriction on the property. We can't sell the property until they pay that money back. When they pay that money back, it goes back into a pool of money to lend out to other people. So once they pay that money back, we have to do a discharge of mortgage, so it's no longer a deed restriction.
And another question, if there's a resident that wants to apply for this, how do you go about it?
We're going through that process now. We are creating a new program as we speak. There was a little hiccup in the program where the previous administration hired a firm, I think it was out of South Jersey, Tom Schroeder, they were handling these grant applications and it didn't go so well. So we are putting a new plan together now that we will have it in-house. We will have an administrator in-house that will manage these programs. And there will be certain requirements for homeowners to borrow money, whether it's a home improvement, if they need new steps, a new boiler, a new roof, they'll come in, they'll fill out an application. There are limits to what they can use it for. There is a income limit. It's basically a program to help people rehabilitate their homes. So we're putting up
Thank you.
Anyone else? Roll call, please. Motion is second.
Councilmember Estacio?
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilmember Scarnio?
Yes.
Councilmember Tapia?
Yes.
Councilmember Toro?
Yes.
Councilmember Velez?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitner?
Yes.
Mayor Dodd?
Yes. Resolution 184, 2025, refund the remaining balance in escrow account for planning board application EWSP 1903.
So,
Councilmember Estacio?
yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilmember Scarnio?
Yes.
Councilmember Tapia?
Yes.
Councilmember Toro?
Yes.
Councilmember Velez?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitner?
Yes.
Mayor Dodd?
Abstain. Resolution 189, 2025, authorizing a change order number 1 for architectural construction support services for oversight for the modifications to existing basement floor health department renovations.
So, second.
Questions or comments? Roll call.
Councilmember Estacio?
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilmember Scarnio?
Yes.
Councilmember Tapia?
Yes.
Councilmember Toro?
Yes.
Councilmember Velez?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitner?
Yes.
Mayor Dodd?
Yes. Resolution 190, 2025, authorizing settlement of tax bill for block 1810, lot 402, building 6
Councilmember Estacio,
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez,
Yes.
Councilmember Scarnio,
Yes.
Councilmember Tapia,
Yes.
Councilmember Toro, Councilmember Velez,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitner, yes, Mayor Dodd.
Yes, resolution 191, 2025, authorizing settlement of tax appeal for block 613, lot 7, known as 22 Central Ave.
Second.
Questions, comments? Roll call.
Councilmember Estacio, Councilmember Rodriguez,
Yes.
Councilmember Scarnio,
Yes.
Councilmember Tapia,
Yes.
Councilmember Toro, Councilmember Velez,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitner,
Yes.
Mayor Dodd.
Yes, resolution 192, 2025, authorizing the town to execute an escrow agreement for JR Asset Builders. Second. Questions, comments?
Councilmember Estacio,
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez,
Yes.
Councilmember Scarnio,
Yes.
Councilmember Tapia,
Yes.
Councilmember Toro,
Yes.
Councilmember Velez,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitner,
Yes.
Mayor Dodd.
Abstain. Resolution 193, 2025, authorizing the town to execute an escrow agreement with Meridia Dover 63 LLC.
So, second.
Questions, comments?
So Mayor, I have a question, is 193 and 194. So I saw on the agenda that you're both talking about the same property.
These are typos.
Oh.
Other questions? Got a motion, a second? Roll.
Councilmember Estacio,
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez,
Yes.
Councilmember Scarnio,
Yes.
Councilmember Tapia,
Yes.
Councilmember Toro,
Yes.
Councilmember Velez,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitner,
No.
Mayor Dodd.
Yes, resolution 194, 2025, authorizing the town to execute an escrow agreement with PRR Realty.
So,
Second.
Questions, comments? Roll call.
Councilmember Estacio,
yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez,
Yes.
Councilmember Scarnio,
Yes.
Councilmember Tapia,
Yes.
Councilmember Toro,
Yes.
Councilmember Velez,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitner, yes, Mayor Dodd.
Yes, resolution 195, authorizing the town to execute an escrow agreement with West Mars, OZX Property Development Company.
So,
Second.
Questions, comments? Roll call.
Councilmember Estacio,
yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez,
Yes.
Councilmember Scarnio,
Yes.
Councilmember Tapia,
Yes.
Councilmember Toro,
Abstain.
Councilmember Velez,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitner,
Yes.
Mayor Dodd.
Yes, resolution 196, 2025, directing the town planning board to conduct a preliminary investigation to determine whether certain property in the town is in a non-condemnation area in need of redevelopment.
So,
Questions, comments?
Mayor, can you just talk through this really quickly before we go to the public session?
Sure. So, actually, this
The
is,
attorney is present for this.
yeah, so this is actually the Baker Estate, and where a developer, local developer, came in for a redevelopment project. We had a very successful meeting in an attempt to preserve the actual Baker Mansion. I feel that this developer came in ahead of time to be able to see what the town was looking for, what our requirements would be, proactive approach to address our concerns and what we would like to see there. I know this is a huge benefit to the town in many, many ways. I'm going to ask Alex and Dean to speak on it in a minute. But we have an opportunity here to create an incredible redevelopment project that would be able to provide workforce housing to St. Clair's Hospital, in addition to some other housing. The property is split between the town of Dover and the town of Horton. This is, I think, a great opportunity for us to clean up that area, and I know this is sensitive to you, Sandra, because that's right in your backyard. But I think this is a great opportunity, in all fairness, to preserve the Baker Mansion and create additional ratables for the town of Dover. So this I feel will be a win-win project for the town of Dover and the developer. But I would like to ask Alex and Dean to chime in here for a minute. Alex, so you want to call? Alex C.
I'm here. And Mayor, if you recall, this is
Alan. So Dean's not on this project, but Dean's here to talk about escrows. Yeah, this is Azzolini's firm. This Dean's here to talk about escrows and any other redevelopment matters that before the board tonight.
Okay, very good. Alex, you want to just give an overview on that project, and then I'll ask Steve to jump in on that?
Certainly. For purposes of kind of echoing what you just said, Mayor, for the community at large, I think we have a property owner here, who knows the sentiment of the property and the sentiment of the community at large. Currently, right now, there's very little to be done for this property by way of historic preservation and protection, if you will. So we certainly don't want to upset the community. It's a very large tract of land, very much underutilized. It's in great proximity of the hospital, and there's been some, desires to do more here to, reimagine the site. But I believe what we're trying to achieve here is take, a fairly old site, inefficient, with the undertone about preserving this property, giving our historic, commission and board the opportunity to oversee the Baker estate, while striking a balance to, like you said, to provide for, workforce housing to support the hospital, or senior, housing, in great proximity to the hospital, and to overall enhance the site by way of best practice engineering and development practices and circulation as well. Something that would pay homage to the state and complement to it. But the undertone to this is to first study it to see if it meets the criteria, and if it does, the undertone and the movements going forward with the property owner is to find a way to preserve that for the community while striking a balance. Because as it stands right now, unfortunately, it's hard to hear, but that property could be demoed, and there's really little protection by way of historic for that site.
Thank you, Alex. Steve, I apologize. I didn't realize you were here, and Dean's on until as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. I think Alex gave a good synopsis of the planning considerations at this point. From a legal perspective, the steps are quite simple. With the resolution tonight, the board is directing the planning board to conduct a preliminary investigation into the property, whether it meets the statutory criteria for a non-condemnation area of redevelopment. So to be clear, the town is not condemning the property. It's looking to redevelop it. The planning board will go through the necessary steps legally with regard to publication to the community at large, and during the public planning meeting, the community will have an opportunity to comment on the plan and what the planner will present. I believe that is the step before coming back to the council. Once the planning board, if the planning board makes a determination that the property is an area in need of redevelopment, the planning board will send it back to the council to adopt an ordinance to that effect. And then you could discuss the actual redevelopment plan and authorizing the redevelopment plan through the enactment of ordinances for that property.
Sure. Thank you, Steve. I think our planner and the attorney covered that very well. Is there any other questions on this board?
Just kind of procedural questions to the council and also the public understand. This property partially falls in Morgan.
Correct.
So, is the applicant going to have to go through part of the same process in Morgan as well?
They do. The carriage house itself, I don't know if you remember the carriage house. The carriage house is actually in Morgan.
Yes.
That whole section will be in front of the Morgan Council. Our side is donation site.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Motion in a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Stacio?
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilmember Scarnio?
Yes.
Councilmember Tapia?
Yes.
Councilmember Toro? Yes. Councilmember Velez?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitner?
Yes.
Mayor Dodd?
Yes. We have resolution 197, 2025.
It's frozen.
This is an event that's happening in Dover. This is for the Dover Arts Week, and that's It's in the basement where they have a celebration. Okay, good. Questions, comments, motion, second? Roll.
Councilmember Estacio?
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilmember Scarnio?
Yes.
Councilmember Tapia?
Yes.
Councilmember Toro? Yes. Councilmember Velez?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitner?
Yes.
Mayor Dodd?
Yes. Okay, I'm going to add another resolution to the agenda tonight. We have resolution 198, 2025. For this board's information, for the public's information, we recently appointed Ed Ramirez as our business administrator. Ed is actually wearing two hats in our community. He is the chief financial officer, and recently we appointed him as our business administrator. Unfortunately, the resolution said interim business administrator when it should have said business administrator. So this is just a typo. This is a correction of the resolution that we adopted, I think, at the previous meeting, correct? Was it previous meeting? 2 meetings ago. So this is resolution of the mayor of the town council, town of Dover, county of Morris, state of New Jersey, appointing Edward Ramirez as town administrator for the town of Dover. I will move that. Do you have any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Estacio?
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilmember Scarnio?
Yes.
Councilmember Tapia?
Yes.
Councilmember Toro? Yes. Councilmember Velez?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitner?
No.
Mayor Dodd?
Yes. Thank you. Okay, and old business or new business?
Maybe. I have a question on what happened with the Iron Ore project?
There are two short projects that we are working on right now in the town of Dover. One is the Harry Lloyd project, and one is the Iron Ore project. I think I'll speak about Harry Lloyd first. I think for this board's information and the public's information, we had, when I first came back to office, I brought the engineer for the Harry Lloyd project in February of 2024. I told him the project needed to move forward. We approved that in 2018. It's been sitting stagnant for 7 years now. We gave them 6 months to come back with a plan. We unfortunately did not do that. We had this board deem that area in need of a combination. We are in the process of invoking eminent domain on the Harry Lloyd project. We started the process. The team came back in and begged us not to invoke eminent domain. I asked them to come back with a building permit for demolition of the existing building within 30 days and have that building demolished by Labor Day of this year. They failed to do that. They failed to come back in and take out the building permit for the demolition. So they're really running out of time. We're going to move forward full steam ahead. We can condemn that property, we can take it through eminent domain, and we can build a parking deck in that area, if or whatever this council chooses as a public use, community center, whatever we decide to do with the property, we can do, as long as it's for public use. That is in the process right now. We're still giving them an opportunity. If they demolish the building by Labor Day, come back with a set of plans, we'll sit down and talk. But right now, we started the eminent domain process. As far as the Iron Ore project goes, I had a meeting with the property owner and a new developer for that project. The Iron Ore project itself is dead. It took 6 or 7 approvals at the planning board and the previous town council to get the approvals. By the time the developer went to get the funding for that project, $85 million is dry up. They can't get the funding for that project, and that project will not move forward with the current developer. They brought in a new developer now that started a second round of basically picking up where the first developer left off. The property owner is negotiating with that developer. And we're going to enter into the same type of scenario with this property owner if something doesn't happen soon. There's only so much time we can give these people until we have to take action. As far as I'm concerned, the Harry Lloyd project is much worse than the Iron Ore project because we have homeless people living in the building. It's rodents, it's out of control. It's a health condition now, it's a safety issue. So we are moving forward on both projects. Unfortunately, they're not moving as fast as we would like.
Mayor, I have a question about iron ore. My understanding when we went through the approvals is that any change to like the actual footprint of the building would necessitate going back for new approval under the regulations. Is that correct?
That is 100% correct. So any developer coming in that changes the footprint, that has to be worked, and it has to go back to the DEP. The difficulty now, going back to the DEP, there's a new set of regulations. That building would never be built under the current regulations. They must adhere to the exact same.
So if they were to change the footprint, they'd have to go back for new approval under the new regulations, which are much more difficult. I remember looking at them and much more expensive to comply with.
Absolutely. Absolutely correct. Yeah. That's why the new developer's trying to pick up where they're
That's specifically just for the footprint. They can still change like interior stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. You can't change the footprint. And to us, it's critical because, you know, when I came back, we negotiated the flood control for Blackwell Street that will host 50,000 cubic gallons of water storage underneath the building to prevent flooding at that intersection. So this is a huge benefit to the town, but I hope we can keep it moving forward. We're doing our best. Any other new or old business?
Mayor, I did want to thank the town and all the employees for the fireworks. They were actually wonderful, probably one of the best displays I've seen in a long time, honestly. And I watched them from across the state. I do want to point out that we actually have 24 new police officers on Friday night in Land. I know that was initially a concern, but I do want to thank Chief Delaney who did actually mandate the staff to get out and people also back from vacation. In order to meet that, so I do want to thank our local police department for doing that, and also, anyone who connected with gloves and the private security and all that.
Thank you, Senator, but just for clarification, that was after the fact. That was absolutely after the fact. I have emails Wednesday afternoon that couldn't do it, but yeah, I also want to thank the Chief for his cooperation to write the order to get the guys in. He did. But thank you. And thank you to the Chief.
Mayor, in regards to the report that you gave earlier, you mentioned that you want to make the downtown more beautiful. Can you look into maybe add more green space, like more trees?
Absolutely. That's all part of it. It's so the way it works is the business improvement district will have their own board with their own director. So the local businesses decide what they want to invest that money in. So that's why I said we're going to appoint a town municipal advisory committee to that board. But ultimately it's their decision on how they want to spend.
And also, does that include maybe like making them paint the buildings, maybe they nicer?
I can't say making them paint the buildings, but it's yes, motivating is right. That is the right way. You gonna? Oh, at the other side, what's the difference?
I would like to piggyback off that, Mayor, just because while we're downtown right now, I do want to thank the cooperation you did with the county to get those flashers installed. But it would be amazing if we get more flashers. But just I guess my general this is I've been trying to ask for a meeting with Prospect Street, with the county as well. But I guess to fit in that meeting, I want to get that meeting going. First of all, what's the update on that? And then I want to get them to prioritize Dover and downtown. If we have to bid and the facades are going and everything, but that can't get crosswalks painted on Blackwell, right? That's still county responsibility with bid or no bid.
Correct.
So I think the county, I think they need to step up. Our Blackwell downtown, they need to step up on it. The crosswalks are decades old. And we need more flashes. We're a very welcome community, and I think we need to start leveraging our relationship and let's get that meeting going. Because I've been asking for the meeting with Prospect Street for quite some time now, so I think if we just put that all together in that meeting, we can get some cooperation.
Well, I do want to address this with you because it's pretty funny how we sit here and not to your knowledge because you're not familiar with it, but how quick people are to criticize me for working with Republicans. And let me just say that under the county commissioners, every single one of them is a Republican. And under my tenure as mayor, every every single county street in the town of Dover has been paved. Okay? The stripes on Blackwell Street crosswalks are not decades old. They have been painted within probably the last 10 years, maybe a decade. And that was all done through a request from the county commissioners. Most county commissioners are the ones who have to approve this project. For example, at the top of Audrey Place and Prospect Street, we asked for traffic enhancements. You and Geo had requested that. We brought the county in. We brought the county planning division, the county engineer, county administrator. We all met there. You guys were part of that meeting. They came in and they did the enhancements. Although we wanted a stop sign, they wouldn't provide it, but they still invested money in that intersection to provide a traffic calming. And that was done, I think, pretty well. I think it helped. Did it solve the problem? Probably not. But we have to wait until the statistics come back to look at the amount of speeding and accidents that happened in 1 year. We did, at one point, have a discussion with them on the crosswalk that was requested, I think, by you, Serge, on Prospect Street. That is something that the county promised that they would look into. We need to follow up on that, Ed, with the county business administrator to find out exactly where they are and see if we can get an update for them, for the councilman in the second ward. But I do want to say that I understand what you're saying. The county definitely needs to step up, but that has to come from a request from us. We're put onto a list, the waiting list, and they only have so much money to spend on road improvements just like we do as a municipality. So we will absolutely put that request in. That crosswalk striping is extremely expensive because it's thermal, it's not paint. It's a thermoplastic that will last probably about 10 years. So I definitely will do that. Ed, will you follow up with the county? Put a request in for crosswalk striping and the crosswalk on Prospect.
And if possible, yeah, I think, and to your point, Mayor, you're right, they did help out. And I think it is a matter of just asking, and they're willing to help, you're absolutely right. But maybe if we can just, maybe get a timeline. So if we can't get it, if we're on a list, and what is that list looking like? Oh, you guys are on the list in 2 years. That would be amazing to know. Okay. Just like a timeline.
Mayor, and speaking of roads, I'm sure most of you know that they were working on the southbound side of Route 15 in front of the gas station. I think they're done now. Whatever patching they did is absolutely, it's very, very bad. You dip right into it. So, people do get that kind of clip, unfortunately. So can we follow up with the state about that, please?
We can. That actually will have to come from us. I know that it's a state road, I know. But what's going on there is the new development site for Dover Tubular Alloys did not have enough water supply for a sprinkler system in that building. So we met with them. They agreed to run an 8-inch line the entire length of Route 15 to supply water. They could have did it 2 ways. They could have increased the size of the main to supply additional water for Dover Tubular Alloys, or they could have put a water storage tank in their facility. In the event of a fire, then they had adequate water supply. But the owner of Tubular Alloy was gracious enough to increase that water main and then do all the tie-ins to the water homes. And so the town benefited probably to the tune of about $1 million in pipe replacement. And I know one of the requirements that they have, and I'm going to call them tomorrow to see if they can patch it, but there is a waiting period for the ground to settle before they can do the final paving. But I still will require them, will ask them to do a repair, at least so it's better than this, until they do the final paving.
Thank you.
We'll put that goal in tomorrow. Yes.
So, just to the business administrator, I just want some old business that was with the previous administrator, and I just want to get your field and see if we can try to get these things done. So one of them I've been asking for is a crosswalk at the crosswalk repainted at the corner of First Street and Academy Street. That we're hoping to get that if possible until when the new school year starts. If we can get that, a lot of our families from that building is asking for it. The Bonnie View Drive stones. It's a a little, 2 stones that are just broken. So see if we can get that fixed. And you might get some pushback on there because supposedly it's St. Clair's that owns that street. So can we just push through that pushback and see how we can get those stones fixed? And there's for the West Dickerson Street, there's a couple handicap residents at the Meridian that are asking if we can have a handicap spot on West Dickerson Street. So my question is, I know handicap spots you have to have a person apply, but if this is for an apartment building, does one person out of those people have to apply, or is that something we just do by?
It's something we can have our engineering department look into to see if there's adequate space and what the requirements are. That's something that will have to be forwarded to Bill. Bill will look into that first.
I think even if there's an applicant, the space isn't dedicated to the person to pacify ordinance, correct?
Any question?
Space. So,
Correct.
So we could, okay. And then the park enforcement is asking about West Dickerson Street on that one way right there in Meridian. It doesn't have signage as far as like a 2-hour limit. So there is no turnover, absolutely no turnover on that little section. But I know that we are having an overhaul of our parking system, so I would like to just see what our town manager recommends. We just hold off for do put a sign.
So 2 things I want to bring to your attention is there is sufficient, again, we'll have to look into it, but there is sufficient handicap parking in the Meridian building that we require when we sign a developer's agreement on the project. And I do want to bring it to your attention is that there is no overnight parking on West Dickerson.
So right now, since there is no sign, technically there is. So there is no sign to enforce.
Okay, so I got this. We got to update the sign. Just going to we'll do that. And you can go down and look at that with Jeff, because Jeff will sort of install the signs per the ordinance.
So is there already?
Yep. Thank you. Anything else? Thank you. Okay, this time, Ramon, the public portion is the people that signed up, correct? Right. Okay, so we'll go through the list again of the people who signed up for the public portion. First, we have Dominic Companion. Sorry.
I know they're not though.
Is Dominic Companion?
Yeah, I just asked on you.
Dominic Companion on mute, please. Okay, we'll move on. We'll come back. Next up, Ray Chacon.
Hi, it's Maria. Can you hear me? Hello?
We can hear you.
Okay. So I had a few comments. I just wanted to say really quick, it would be good if you told the listeners or the people that are contributing, commenting and waiting for public comment. I know that Tara was nice and she told us on the phone, but maybe just to give us a little directions when the meeting starts or when public comment starts, that you have to raise your hand and you have to go on Zoom and look for where to unmute yourself. If that would be nice if you did that, in the next meeting. Really quick, I wanted to touch on the smoking ordinance. So it's only for parks, government buildings, and schools. Does it cover, how about streets? Like if you're walking on Blackwell or a side street or a back of a restaurant or in front of a restaurant, if the restaurant permits, is it allowed? And it's also going to allow, if, people are going to be scared to smoke in Dover, is also going to allow the Dover business that's on 46. Like people in Dover are not going to want to buy or even smoke because they're going to be scared that they're going to be fined. So if you could provide more details on what exactly it's called. The next one would be the parking ordinance. I know that you mentioned that this was a working project, which means that you can modify it. So then you're going to hire parking officers, and are we going to be able to see those jobs online somewhere? And so the public could apply? Because the other two parking officer jobs, we didn't see it on the town website, and we weren't able to see the roles that were advertised according to people that were looking online. And also because I checked with Randolph, so Randolph does this too, but in a simpler way, right? They don't stop people from at 8 p.m. because that doesn't make sense. A lot of people are not home at 8 p.m. So for them, it is that they start at 2 a.m. So if you are having a visitor over and it's 2 a.m., you call the police department and you give them the license plate. That's it. So they could stay over and they don't get a ticket or they don't get towed. So that's how they do it in Randolph, which I think is a good idea. And you're not stressing anybody out that you have to be home at 8 or else. And then the next one would be meetings. Is this meeting being recorded? Because I didn't hear that it was being recorded at the beginning. And if it is recorded, when will we see the recording? I couldn't find anywhere online the recordings for the last sessions, and I asked this in the last meeting. So if you could please help me out and find the recordings for the last sessions, I would appreciate that. Other towns do that as well when they have public comment. They have Zoom, and they also provide...
Okay, your time is up. We're going to move on.
Okay.
Chris Savana? Chris Salata? Not here. Move on. Edward Grimes.
This is Edward Grimes. A video online after the election, after Dodge 3 lackeys lost their primary. There's a video of him yelling and screaming at them. Yelling and screaming at them. Telling them, oh, I set you up and you blew it, you ruined it. I was like, wow, he's such a bully to you guys. I can't wait till he's not in office anymore and the stories that you're going to tell us all. Because there's no way you can be happy with the way he's treating you. I can't believe the way... That's not leading from strength. That's feckless leadership. That's pusillanimous leadership. We all heard how he treated Mayor Blackman, an African-American grandmother, who he called a C and a P and the N-word. So this wasn't anything new for Dodd to be yelling racial epithets and sexual horrible things at his council for losing. But what's really funny is that, you know, you denied Trump 3 times already. I don't know how many more times. You're like St. Peter. You denied Trump 3 times. But you ran, as soon as you found out your lackeys lost the election, you ran 3 of your Republican lackeys so that the new people wouldn't be unopposed. I wonder if the Democratic Party knows that you did this. So you ran 3 of your Republican lackeys against the 3 winners of the primary. That's your energy. So why don't you just admit you're a Republican? You don't just work for Republicans, you are a Republican. We all know that burkas could not be worn in your council meeting. We all knew it. And it took L-Round to prove it. And you were exposed. And all you can do is attack me. But you can't face the fact that you banned burkas. You offended 1,500 Muslims in your town by banning the burqa. You had people in your town an ex-policeman, saying that should have thrown them in the Rockaway River. And a shout out to the Dover police who defied you and would not do an unconstitutional order and arrest that person in the burqa. They wouldn't do it. Shout out to the police for not following a reckless order, an unconstitutional, racist, Islamophobic order. That stuff has been overseas for thousands of years. Islamophobia and anti-Semitism. And you brought it here. You brought it here to this town, Dodd. And you can't even defend it. All you can do is attack me. That's all you can do. Attack and deflect. Attack and deflect. Well, why don't you talk about why you banned burqas? I saw some of the reasons. They could have a shotgun under their burqa. They could be an active shooter program. You said all kinds of horrible things about Muslims and about Islam. You have to account for that. It's all on tape. And
Thank you. NCMC President, would you like to comment?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so the organization that I'm the president of is the Neutralization of Council Meeting Conduct. I'd like to express concerns regarding the conduct of these recent electronic meetings and the adherence to established procedural guidelines, specifically to Robert's Rules of Orders, which you guys are in violation of. Proper adherence to Robert's rules is essential to ensure transparency, fairness, and legitimacy in decision and conduct-making processes. Unfortunately, it appears that all key procedural standards have not been followed during these virtual meetings. Failure to follow these rules not only undermines the integrity of these meetings, but it also risks legal challenges and questions of legitimacy down the line. It is crucial to uphold these standards to maintain public trust and ensure that all voices are heard fairly. I would like to directly address this to the borough attorney, who should know this. And according to the 12th edition, which is the most current edition of Robert's Rules of Orders, which has to legally be followed, no ad hoc restrictions can be applied. These things need to be written down within bylaws. And the organization that I'm a part of, we have voted that we are a task-oriented organization. We don't use the word task force, because force is not something that we apply to free Americans, free men and women in this country. Force is something, and in regards to the response about the smoking ordinance, when you said we live by the rule of law, you made the comparison, the parallel comparison to open containers of alcohol. Well, we know what Mr. Rodriguez on the council does when he encounters open containers of alcohol. Do we live by the rule of law when he assaults, punches, kicks, and violates? And your response, the taxpayers had to foot $30,000 plus for his legal fees, but you guys live by the rule of law. You can't have open containers of alcohol, which was the comparison that you make. Well, we know what a member of this council will do when he encounters someone with an open container of alcohol. That is not living by the rule of law. And you stood by this individual after initially saying that he should resign. And you stood by politically what the voters decided was a loser. And in my opinion, personally, he is a loser as well. Everything in this meeting is illegal, and I would urge the borough attorney to do his due diligence and not just follow whatever Mayor Dodd says. Protect the residents, protect the taxpayers. The only security risk that exists within these meetings is the possibility of litigation. This township has opened itself up to so much litigation for these electronic meetings not being conducted properly in accordance to Robert's rules. And as you get the last word and nobody can rebut you, I would love to hear a response on the procedures of Robert's rules that have been ignored. The ad hoc restrictions have been different each time. Each meeting has had different rules of conduct. And
yeah, time's up, sir. Thank you. So I do want to address some of the comments that I made. Did you have an opportunity to look at the public streets? Is that in the ordinance?
Yes, Mayor. With respect to the smoking ordinance?
Yes.
So in the smoking ordinance, there are two sections which I think address the question. The first is under the definition section of what a municipal government building is. And it defines that as a building or portion of building owned or leased by the town of Dover. This includes the physical property, any grounds around, any grounds of any town or leased park, rec facility, school, outdoor pasture, pickup and drop-off areas, and any other town-owned municipal government building, which I just defined, indoor public place, a workplace, a public park, or in any building of or on the grounds of any public or non-public elementary or secondary school, regardless of whether the area is indoor public place or it's outdoor. So it does not prohibit smoking of anything other than marijuana, which is not applicable on public streets, on sidewalk. So the law still remains the same, that any product you're legally able to smoke in an area that I didn't list, you're still able to do that again in the public street, sidewalk. Now this covers the areas I mentioned, and that includes all products that would be smoked, including that.
Thank you. A couple of the other questions that were asked in the very beginning of the meeting, I did give instructions on how we were going to handle these Zoom calls. I made it very clear that if you raised your hand when you're ready to speak, that we would call on you. I also mentioned that you would have 3 minutes to share your comments, and if you missed your turn, I would come back, which I did every time. So we addressed that. All municipal jobs I want to address are published for the public to see. There are on the League of Municipalities, and whatever requirement by law, we make sure all public jobs, including the park enforcement jobs, are published. It was mentioned that Randolph.
I timed my speaking time. It was 2 minutes and 15.
So the times can be adjusted, as we said earlier. 8 p.m. was a number that the parking committee decided to put into the ordinance, because the problem we're faced with when people come home from work at night, they don't have a place to park on any of the public streets in Dover, because the real problem is stacking and overcrowding, which we're addressing as we speak. And I think as the stacking and overcrowding problem in our community is addressed, the parking problem will go away with it. But we'll see how that works. We can adjust those times. And I do want to say that I continue to say that this is work in progress. This is a massive ordinance that involves the entire town in every aspect. So we will continue to address it as issues come up. Again, I want to publicly thank Alex Starty. He put his heart and soul into this ordinance, our town planner. And we will continue to make adjustments as we go. Maybe 8 o'clock's not the time, maybe it's 10, maybe it's 2. If I could just, but I think that it's an opportunity for us to learn and make those improvements as we go. But I want the public to understand, again, this is work in progress, and it's not going to be perfect on the first shot.
Mayor, so just to clarify, I don't think, so what she was talking about is just the visitor pass aspect of it. And in the ordinance, it already reads that you can, people are responsible, you can call police department or parking officers that are working overnight. So she compared it to how Randolph called at 2 a.m. The Department of Parking Enforcement. That's what this ordinance already reads, and that's what we passed. And so it's, I don't know what you were reading, but that's exactly what you can do with these parking ordinance. You can call 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 11 p.m. Just call the police department, the dispatch number, the non-emergency line, and you just call them with the license plate. Same thing as in most many towns. That's what's on the books.
Thank you, Sergio, for bringing that up. Okay, the last thing I want to just say, I want to thank, I think, someone reminded me, we have the senior prom, whatever city. Senior prom is August 8th, in which we honor our senior citizens, and they come out. I want to thank Morris County Hispanic Affairs for sponsoring this event. Once again, a great event for our community. It's sponsored by local organizations. This happens to be a nonprofit organization in our community that is providing the funding for this event for senior prom. So August 8th at the Conway Center. There is a pre-registration required to attend that event. And with that, is there anything else? Please, Councilman.
I would just say to the last comments made, we're not a borough, we're not a township, we're the town of Dover.
Thank you, Senator. And I do want to also thank you for reminding me, Senator. The Columbia Festival was another great event in our community this past weekend. I want to publicly thank and commend President Johnny Holgren and the entire organization appreciation for a event that was organized very, very well. We didn't have any incidents. I had a previous engagement. I got there later in the day. There was a huge attendance, great turnout for Club Columbia, and I want to commend them for another great event here in our community. And we look forward to these events. That's what the public wants. So thank you to Club Columbia for their efforts here to provide events and opportunity. So thank you everyone for attending. With that, I'll make a motion for adjournment. Second. All in favor?